I just find it funny that I told you my secret idea for my Elden Ring YouTube video essay, and you were like, man, what a basic bitch ass take. Millions of videos have made that exact same point. Everyone's comparing it to Foucault. What is it? Foucault's End of History. Everyone.
Fukuyama's End of History.
Oh, Fukuyama's End of History. Everyone's busted out that in their YouTube video essay. The whole time you were saying that, I was like, what fucking video essays are you talking about? Because I haven't seen that. And I watched the Jacob Geller like million-hour-long video where he talks about the I now fight as Horelu, which is my favorite moment.
I'm just saying I've seen the comparison a couple of times, and it's a really good one that there's a lot to talk about, but I feel like I gotta find an extra nugget in there is what I'm saying. But like, it was like I said, that would be, if I made a Dark Souls video, the 80% of it would be that, because that's what the fucking games are about, and the way that they can't even seem to bring themselves to make a game about anything else. I mean,
Miyazaki is just making the same game over and over until he gets it right.
I mean, culture is making the same everything over and over. How much fucking fiction is about, like, just how fucked the system and those in power are? And then what makes Dark Souls cool is that, at least in a lot of Western takes on this, they always have to recuperate that anxiety about the system and say that actually it's fine if we just say the right things, and the bad guy who wanted to change the system, he was mean, so it's fine. Whereas in Dark Souls,
the Outer Worlds approach.
Yeah, Outer Worlds is indicative of almost every piece of fiction I've experienced in like the last 5 years. It's all fucking Outer Worlds. It's all doing that. It's all bullshit. Except for a few niche sorts of things that take slightly more sophisticated approaches to it, but they're outliers.
Anyway, I'm getting so fucking off track. Okay, so we got Diablo Immortal. I hope that you are psychologically amped up to talk about Diablo Immortal, Kropo. Kropo? Huh?
Just what we need in the middle of July is a nice dumpster fire to keep us
warm. All right, and then speaking of dumpster fires, we got just an absolute shit ton of crypto garbage to catch up on.
Something that's like more damaging to the environment than a dumpster fire is just all of this.
Don't you just love speculative assets? They're so great.
I do. That's the first thing I say in most conversations.
I love speculative assets.
And then she says, I have a boyfriend.
Fuck. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Video Games Are the Worst Thing on Earth. I'm your host, Alton. With me, as always, is Reese.
Hello.
And Kay.
Hi.
And joining us once again is Kropo. How are you doing, Kropo?
Not too bad. Pleasure to be here.
Excellent. And because of their history with the ultimate fountain of evil, Blizzard Entertainment, we have brought them on to speak about their latest and some would say greatest disaster. But they would be wrong, of course, because, you know, Activision Blizzard has all that ongoing litigation for abuse.
It's Activision at this point. The Blizzard is no longer there. It's just a single aesthetic vestige of what it once was. The parasite has fully subsumed it.
Yeah.
Outside the realm of tangible trauma caused between employees, this is the worst thing that Blizzard has done.
That's true.
Diablo Immortal is what we're talking about. And I know everyone's been talking about Diablo Immortal. It's hard not to. But really, I wanted to talk about it just because what I've been seeing with Diablo Immortal, I know it's a mobile game, but like people on our server were posting a bunch of stuff in like our Gacha containment channel, which we made specifically so that Ian would not spam fucking all their fucking Gashapon news in like the rest of the game sections. Oh, and that's where news about Diablo Immortal has been going. And like I don't necessarily have anything about gacha games. Like what is that big popular one that everyone plays?
Genshin Impact.
Yeah, Genshin Impact. That looks fine. You know, I get the concept and how it's, you know, it makes its money by making you put quarters into the vending machine to get a little random doll, right?
Well, now that the check from Raid Shadow Legends has been cashed, I'm gonna say gacha games are fucking evil and should be treated as a biblical plague on human society that must be fought.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how awkward it would be if one of the hosts of Vigatato got a fucking sponsorship from an evil gacha game that preyed upon children. That would certainly put us in a compromising ethical position.
That's right.
Now I'm white and I have a penis. Can I play devil's advocate for a moment here?
Oh, absolutely.
In defense of gacha games,
Yeah.
it's better that they're on the phone than they're actual plastic at this point. So we should take a moment here to thank all the gacha games for not producing plastic shit that would have gotten thrown out anyway.
True.
You gotta hand it to them.
Digital waifus do take up much less space in the landfill,
Yeah.
must be said.
I mean, like, unless the body pillows are made out of, like, compostable fibers or something like that.
I demand all the body pillows be made out of biodegradable material.
21st century green waifus now available.
That was actually on the Shinzo Abe's Assassin's Manifesto on there. It was requested.
That's right. Oh yeah, I forgot the other big news is that Shinzo Abe got taken out with a fucking science fair project.
Owned.
The people were hoping for Valve to do something about TF2, and turns out they gave Scout a buff.
Oh fuck yeah.
That's classic. I have a question.
Yes.
Did anybody play Diablo Immortal here?
No.
Fuck no.
Hell no.
No, I have Grindr on my phone, which is the only, like, as close to HIV as I'm going to get.
Yeah, if I'm not gonna play it, it's gotta be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reese is our resident gamer goblin.
Well, the thing is too about something like Genshin Impact versus Diablo Immortal. I've heard that the gameplay for the like first story or whatever, the first hit that's free, is fine for a mobile game. But the real difference that makes Diablo Immortal so much more evil to me is that there's no kind of forgiveness mechanics, you know, bad luck roll stuff.
Oh yeah, the pity rolls.
The pity rolls, because in Genshin Impact, I got some shitty rolls when I messed around with it, but at the very least, you get the big hero in the event or something if you and you can earn that currency, and it's not good. It's bad. It's 100% bad, but there's a difference between like drinking bleach and drinking Cthulhu's piss. And Diablo Immortal is drinking Cthulhu's piss.
I don't know if drinking Cthulhu's piss would necessarily kill you.
It would do something. I would chug it. I want to be really clear about that. I would sip that.
I'm glad that you revealed your Cthulhu
We
piss
spotted
fetish.
the monster fucker, yeah. Now,
I mean,
Mostly, I want the insights it would grant me.
Oh,
Now,
I
here's
see.
the
Here's
thing.
the
You say
question.
I love cosmic water sports, yet I describe that as the bad thing. And you were all, and everyone else's response was just like, that sounds lovely. What an interesting concept to drink.
I'm not
Cthulhu's
blaming.
piss."
No, not you. I'm not blaming you. I'm shocked that like Kay's first reaction was just like, I would drink that instantaneously. It's like, what?
I want so badly to be an old one, dude. They
can't-
seem like they got it figured out.
I just know how bad Bleach is. Like, Bleach is fucking awful. Like, given the choice between Cthulhu's piss and Bleach, I would take my chances with Cthulhu's piss, just because I know what fucking Bleach is gonna do to me, and it's not good.
That's a good point. We're really coming at your metaphor here, Reese.
You know, sometimes I'm glad I can readjust my analysis of Cthulhu's piss and how it's viewed by society.
Yeah, it
You
might
know,
give you
ruthless
cool
criticism
powers.
of all that exists is really what we do here.
It could kill you or give you like extra dimensional parasites, which is bad. But
Well,
you've got more of a shot with Cthulhu's piss. It's like, it's, you know, roll a D100 and see what effect you get versus Bleach is save versus death or die.
What happens here is that I die horribly from drinking bleach, and then Kay says, "I've been building up an immunity to Cthulhu's piss my whole life, and so now it doesn't bother me at all."
Yeah, that's called using Twitter, folks.
All right, let me get us back on track. I want to get back to a point I was making earlier, and that I did say that I don't have any issue with gacha games. They look fine. It just says Diablo to me is like if you change its genre from like the sort of action RPG to a gacha game, you fundamentally made it not Diablo way. And I know that this is kind of my boomer or millennial rant about nostalgia, because I grew up playing like the original Diablo on BattleNet. Like I played, sunk dozens at least of hours into that game, if not hundreds.
Back when soda cost a nickel and you walked up the hill to school in the snow.
Back when the internet made a horrible noise every time you logged into it.
You could smoke inside, god damn it.
That's right. And as an 8-year-old, I certainly did.
Yeah, everyone did back then.
Everyone was smoking. Every millennial 8-year-old was smoking inside, listening to the dial-up modem go ee. But it's so weird to see something that like I feel like has such a well-established identity and genre. You know, Diablo pretty much established the tropes of the action RPG, looting, the skill tree, like the combat, and it's fucking weird that they've made like Diablo into something comparable to a game where you get a random loot boxes of waifus. Like, what? That's not Diablo. Just like, you didn't kill Mephisto and he didn't drop an epic level waifu.
They could have pulled it off though. They really could have. Well, I mean, as the previous conversation is on there, you cannot underestimate the monster fucker demographic. The energy and the passion that they bring, it floats so many video games on there. Like, I think that's what's keeping World of Warcraft alive is just the monster fuckers on there.
Final Fantasy XIV's success has come from embracing the monster fucker ethos.
Yeah, that's true. You can like have a successful and well-sustained product by embracing the monster fucker. Blizzard just thinks that they're too cool to embrace the monster fucker demographic outside of World of Warcraft, though, which is why you don't have any huge furry creatures in Overwatch aside from like the one guy, the token one,
and the hamster.
Oh yeah,
which nobody gives a shit about the hamster.
No, hamsters are like nobody has a hamster persona ever.
I don't think I've ever seen one. Hamsters are deranged, evil creatures, is why. You go on the internet and like everyone knows that like if you've ever had a hamster, they've done like the most fucked up shit imaginable.
Yeah.
Like I've had a pet hamster once, and it had like a litter of baby hamsters, and it just straight up fucking ate one of them.
The thing about hamsters is they don't have souls.
No.
So they're a great pet because it's not as sad when they die.
It's just like, well, that was an evil creature. I'm glad it's gone. That has genuinely been my experience with hamsters, is that they are fucked up. They are degenerate creatures. Like, holy crap.
Which is why Hammond from Overwatch is unfuckable.
Agreed.
Another L for Blizzard.
Just fucking brought up like repressed memories.
Oh no.
Of the fucking hamster we had that ate its own babies.
Still got that Blizzard charm. Can soul crush even though I ain't working there anymore.
Okay, so the articles I've got all relating to this are all about how Diablo Immortal allegedly costs up to like $100,000 to max out a character, and a bunch of people like comparing the relative costs of getting like an epic level character or whatever versus other gacha games. So there's this one from K-Dog at SKC_KDog. They've got like Fate Grand Order, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, Arknight, Fire Emblem Heroes. And so, like, just for context, how much it would cost to get like a 5-star character? The second highest maximum is roughly $675, which is a lot. But the maximum for Diablo Immortal is $18,000 fucking dollars to get a 5-star character. So I find it really fucking funny how it's like the fucking gacha game community are really the ones sort of doing the math and working out how fucking bad of a game Diablo Immortal is in terms of like monetary shit.
Like, it's all fun and games until somebody brings out an Excel spreadsheet. Just like, that's when you know things are about to get fucked.
Yeah, it's over for you. You see that grid? You done.
Diablo Immortal was releasing expecting simple Diablo fans like me to buy it and spend money on it. You know, people who don't know how to work out a spreadsheet of average costs to get a 5-star character. You know, people uninitiated in the ways of gaming the system for gacha games. And what they found instead is that every gacha game player within like 100,000 miles is like taking them to task for being the worst one of all of them.
Yeah, and like all of the games on this list, I think suck. It sucks that they fucking can extract so much money from people. It's incredible that it manages to be this dramatically worse than its sort of contemporaries when it comes to gacha games. You know, it's already pretty notorious for trying to bleed a lot of money out of you, and they're just like, nah, you guys are fucking amateurs. I'm going to be a mortgage.
Going full Kotick mode.
Yeah, going full Kotick.
Well, the strategy is not to court gacha game fans. It's to make new Blizzard gacha game fans of the divorced freaks who still play World of Warcraft. You know, and there are non-divorced, non-freaks who play World of Warcraft as well.
Incorrect.
Even if you aren't physically divorced, spiritually, you have divorced your significant other by dedicating yourself.
That caveat was specifically only for Mitch Heavy-Eyed.
Oh, okay. The one non-divorced World of Warcraft player.
All right, yeah, one.
The exception that proves the rule. Gotcha.
Exactly.
But I
One
assume
thing-
this has made $700 billion from people who probably don't install a lot of games on their phone.
Right. Well, I mean, look at it. It's like grocery bill, rent payment, entire year's mortgage payment for the maximums on here. So it's like the difference is like you could buy a house for what you're paying for Diablo Immortal, just hands down. Not a good house, mind you, with today's economy, but still a house. I can understandably see some people spending their month's rent on these games because it's happened.
Yeah.
But there's at least one person on here who's losing their house because of Diablo Immortal.
Oh, that's dark.
Am I wrong? Is that a wrong statement?
Is that more or less grim than losing your house because of a fucking JPEG of a monkey?
Less-
At least you got to play a video game.
I don't know.
Less grim.
Like I think it's more grim because I genuinely hate the Bored Ape avatars. So
They're fucking
every time
hideous.
I see them, like they always use them for their avatars too, and they're the ugliest fucking thing on earth. And it is a terribly shallow inclination of mine, but I feel no sympathy for those creatures, and
They deserve no sympathy.
I wish them harm. So when I associate the person with their avatar and see just like the ugliest mutant ape possible, I'm like, kill it.
We fucking hate ugly mutant apes on this podcast. I googled it, and Diablo Immortal has made a fuck ton of money. They're doing well.
I think
Says
that's
here,
bad.
24 million in 2 weeks.
That's so fucking bad. Because you know what? They set a new standard for greedy exploitation of gacha games. And I
Yeah.
feel like there's every possibility that all these other gacha games that are like not as bad as Diablo Immortal now will look and see what they're doing and be like, we have a way bigger audience than this. And start charging more.
Oh yeah.
What people forget about Blizzard is that they also are King, the Candy Crush people. So this is very much in their DNA, and I'm sure they've been looking for a way to synergize since.
Oh, they did that in Diablo
Dawn.
3.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like let's not forget, like Diablo 3 is only good now because they broke it to a point where they had to make a decent game out of it at the end. Like the real money auction house was garbage, and they built the entire game around that, and they had to remove that because it just wasn't working, and they then patched in a better game after the fact. So I mean, it's not like this is at all new. Diablo has always been, well, not always been, but it's since the last 20 years has been part of the grand project of
Blizzard becoming shittier.
Yeah, the Activision taking over Blizzard.
Yeah, Blizzard ever since has been such a blight on the industry. I mean, they put loot boxes on the fucking map with Overwatch, and that's been great.
They really are the innovators of shitty exploitative things happening in video games.
And if you want to know some deep cut of lore behind Blizzard, about 2 months before they launched Diablo 3, they cut their support staff by like half. So they fired pretty much everybody on there, and Diablo 3, very famous for a smooth launch. Nothing went wrong with Diablo 3 when it launched at all.
No.
Fuck.
The support staff didn't have to sleep in their fucking desks for 2 weeks on end for $10 a fucking hour on that one. No, not at all.
That really reminds me a lot of stories I heard. You probably saw that article that came out a while ago about a bunch of ex-Bethesda staff talking about the development of Fallout 76.
Oh yeah.
And there was a lot of talk there as well about just these very overworked and exploited like QA laborers and stuff. And it starts to become so obvious that a lot of how fucked that game was on release was completely a corporate decision to make it that way. So it's interesting to hear that Diablo 3 had a similar thing going on. Probably a lot of games that release in a fucked up state, probably the same story.
Yeah. And it's just like there's no support staff for them. Like I know folks that do support for Bethesda. It's like 6 guys in not even a cubicle. It's just a row of desks farmed out to a company that works for them, and it's like they're
6 guys in a fucking stall.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking barn with chickens and other animals.
And in the other room, they have like people calling in begging for their lives for health insurance. So it's just manufactured misery in a single room, like as much misery as you can pack in there.
Jesus.
When I did support for Microsoft, which now owns Blizzard, they had a lot of support for the Xbox, but it was interesting how pointed they were about saying stuff like, we do not want you to put any effort into supporting this part of the Xbox, even though we technically do support it. The funniest example of this is when we added Bitcoin payments, and they were just like, this stuff is fucked. It barely works. Do not pay any attention to it. If somebody calls you about it, just give them the brush off. You won't get in trouble. And I always think about that when I think about stuff like this, where I'm just like, even good support has such specific weird goals, and it's no mistake that so many games ship fucked up and bugs are such a regular part of the process that they just kind of offload onto people.
Yeah,
man.
What a cool industry.
Yeah, it's a good thing they're getting unionized, right?
Fuck yeah.
I mean, there's still efforts with CWA trying to unionize the rest of Blizzard Entertainment, from what I know. I got one friend that still works there, and since we're on here, fuck QuickBooks. Just on their behalf, fuck QuickBooks.
QuickBooks.
All right.
Because like they raised a bunch of, like, how much did they raise? Like $500,000 for the strikers at Blizzard.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And it's just like they were paying their people out there, but if in order to do that, you need bookkeeping software. And QuickBooks fucking dragged their heels for about 3 months before they could get any kind of workable software for them. And it's just like, yeah, corporate corporate overlords look out for each other on that shit.
Yeah.
You'll never find more class solidarity than you will at the very, very top.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They are extremely class conscious, which is why it's
Mhm.
important that we also be. Because currently they are they are by far the most conscious class.
Yeah.
Which is
100%.
why this society exists. It sucks. Don't care for it.
The entire video game industry has somehow become like, I don't know if a microcosm's the right word, because it's not really micro in any way, but the example of the exploitative of use of capitalism. And I think that what makes it even more obvious is that pretty much everyone plays video games and like knows about video games, and like it's just something that's supposed to be fun, light entertainment. And just every 2 weeks there's like a new story out about a different AAA studio that is rife with abuse and crunch and just the worst kind of management and business practices imaginable.
Yeah. The video game industry is now what the music industry was in like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. I think a lot of it feels very on the nose because it's kind of a younger industry, and I just genuinely feel like a lot of the people running it are especially dumb. Even as far as like annoying management creeps go and stuff.
The thing is about it is that from what I've heard, video games as like a thing, you have to like understand it as an art form to some degree to actually manage it correctly. And yet most of like the corporate CEOs that exist did not work in the video game industry beforehand, have never really been gamers, do not understand video games as an art form. They like, what was fucking Bobby Kotick? He like sold widgets before he became like part of Activision.
He was like a day trader or a corporate raider or some shit.
Yeah, like these people are not, they don't understand the artistic medium. They don't participate in it. They don't get it at like a fundamental level. And so they try to manage video games like you would like a factory that produces boxes.
I would like to point out that Bobby Kotick is Steve Wynn's protege. And you should give Steve Wynn a quick Google. Just one of the most insane, evil people to ever live in the realm of casinos. A bastard, even there. It's crazy. And the fact that this is who learned from him, went on to influence Blizzard so much, it's so telling. Is just like how much of this is like looking at that addictive aspect of gaming, which in like Diablo 1 and 2 was a lot more innocent because it was there and it was trying to exploit you somewhat, but it also wasn't doing all of these insane monetary things on top of it.
Right. Like once you bought it, you bought it.
Exactly. And so now like a game like Path of Exile or Grim Dawn is like much more the legacy of Diablo authentically than Diablo Immortal, just because it can embrace that. And, but other people are just see Diablo and they just gotta freak out. They gotta spend $10,000.
My favorite thing to do in the original Diablo, you could dupe anything in Diablo. It was wonderful.
That's true. Back then, no one gave a shit. Like, fuck it. There's exploits. Fuck it. Who cares? Video game. Have fun. Go crazy.
And Diablo 3 was like, we're going to skim a little bit off the top. And Diablo Immortal is like, we're going to sell that to you for the price of a house. And
yeah.
Oh, you're looking forward to Diablo 4? Oh, boy. What are they going to do to us?
It looks like it's not going to be very good.
They're gonna unveil it on BlizzCon, and people are gonna boo, and the people in the audience are gonna, because of like the microtransactions, right? The microtransactions are gonna be even worse.
Yeah.
And the audience, the people on there are gonna be clueless and look at them and just like, because they've been briefed by the execs that they're like, they all have phones, they'll play this game for sure. They all have kidneys, they'll sell their kidneys, and we'll just like blindly, matter of factly remark to them, it's like, you all have kidneys, right? You've got 2 kidneys. You can sell 1 kidney.
Oh, what? You don't have kidneys? Come on. Yeah, that's how it's gonna go. It's gonna be great.
Maybe they'll step it back a little bit, but I don't know. The signs are not looking good. It like genuinely, it just seemed as though, even though there's been like some pushback on the whole loot box thing. Oh, that's another thing. Like, didn't like fucking like Belgium and Norway ban, or no, they didn't ban it. Blizzard chose not to release Diablo Immortal in Belgium and Norway because it goes counter to their loot box laws.
Right.
Their
So-
laws are just that you have to, if I remember correctly, you have to transparently display like the chances of getting different things. You got to be like transparent with all your stats. And they said, no, we won't do that. Fuck you. We'd rather just not
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
sell in your market.
Do you not know how much a floating points unit will tax a CPU on a phone? I mean, what they're probably going to do is they learned from Diablo 3 that they're eventually going to have to face the backlash of it. And they've got a predetermined rollback point that they're going to deal with it.
That's such a good point. Like, we've seen so many fucking games do this now, where they start off as exploitative and awful as they can, like Middle-earth Shadow of War. That could be called a fucking gacha game, because you get fucking orc packs. And now they've rolled that back to the point where it's now playable without spending money. Because they basically made all their cash in like the first couple months or whatever.
Yeah, and like the people that like are going to go for the new hit are going to go for something else.
They probably set like, you know, fallback points in terms of like, if the pushback for this exploitative mechanic gets too bad, we'll set our expectations back, we'll roll it back to this point and see, and people will be more okay with it because we conceded slightly.
Yeah. But that's also ascribing to them a lot more competence than they usually
That's
have.
true.
So it's
Here's my call. Diablo Immortal is going to come out for Game Pass with a whole bunch of shit that you don't get in the like Battle.net launcher. And so you're just like, you know, $10,000 worth of gems or whatever. And then there'll be a new event that makes all of that, you know, no longer maximum, but everybody will say, it's look at all this great shit you get. We should just play Diablo Immortal on the new Microsoft thing. And suddenly the story will be one of redemption from the biggest idiots online. But that will be how they get past it. Something like that.
Ooh, yeah, maybe.
That's a good point, Reese.
Yeah, and we do have to acknowledge that Microsoft do have a level of cynical competence above Activision Blizzard. So
Oh, absolutely. Anyway, are we done talking about Diablo Immortal?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I mean,
Please.
there's no monster waifus in there. It's terrible.
Awful game.
I think that you're 100% right, Kropo. I would find it at least somewhat tolerable if they just had like sexy monster waifu in Diablo Immortal. If that was what the game was about, and not about spending like $50,000 on gems to slot into your weapons, which is so fucking boring.
Listen, we can all fuck a busty mummy. We don't have to engage with Diablo Immortal to do that. I mean, you know, in our heads, in our hearts and souls, we can do that. We don't need Diablo Immortal for that experience. That's all I'm saying.
Agreed. So, completely obsolete and pointless. Let's move on. Speaking of obsolete and pointless, we've got a bunch of cryptocurrency news to keep up on. You know, in no particular order, I've just slotted a bunch of things in here. Like, somebody's made like a fucking cryptocurrency like cowboy shooter game that looks like it came from 2003.
Oh yeah. New Red Dead looks great.
Oh, it looks so fucking good. And I think that the thing 9volt really gets at the funniest part is that like it looks in the video it looks like absolute dog shit, but they're claiming that in person it looks amazing.
That's awesome.
At Brycent_ says Twitter destroyed the quality completely. In person the game looks sick and plays very well. Twitter doesn't do the quality justice. It's AAA in person.
Can't disprove that. I got it like grit.
gotta fuck. Oh yeah, that's the name of the game. It's called Grit, and apparently it's some like awful NFT game.
Getting a lot of my girlfriend in Canada vibes from that post.
I remember we had to fucking explain that to Matt, who is an actual Canadian, and they're like, "What is a girlfriend in Canada?" And it's just like, "Oh, it's something that kids in America say when they don't have a girlfriend."
Oh, you can't. Come on, don't tell Canadians about that. It's gonna hurt their self-esteem.
All right, big fucking news here. This is the real nugget that I wanted to talk about. This comes to us from pushsquare.com. from Kale Adam, it looks like Square Enix won't be betting the farm on the blockchain after all. And this is very short, so I'll just read through all of it. In a turnaround so rapid, it's likely to cause whiplash. It looks like Square Enix may not be staking its future on NFTs and the blockchain after all. In its most recent financial report, the venerable purveyor of fine JRPGs has walked back its intentions somewhat. In an outline of the results translated into English, Square Enix president Yosuke Matsuda said the following, quote, "Rather than using the proceeds from the divestiture in new investment domains such as NFTs and blockchains, we intend to use them primarily to fund our efforts to foster solid IP and to enhance our development capabilities in our core digital entertainment segment." Which is a fucking wild ass thing to say after you sold some of the fucking like most renowned IPs in like Western game history ever.
Yeah.
Like the fucking Deus Ex IP. You fucking sold it for fucking to get your fucking Bored Ape.
In a shocking turn of events, Japanese video game publisher vows to continue to publish video games.
I know.
It's so much has the feeling of them sort of, you know, crawling back with their tail between their legs, you know, just like, oh, our gambling didn't work out. Oh fuck, we sold off all our IPs. We got to make new IPs.
Now they have to fucking. I know. Oh, that's gonna be so fucking funny. But they just like they sold off not just IPs, they sold off entire development studios, right? So
Yeah.
literally they sold foster solid IP and enhance our development capabilities. You sold both of those, homie.
You threw away all your talent, you fucking dicks.
It's so funny. It's just like, oh my god, making a public statement that like oopsie poopsie.
Yeah, big no one wants to work anymore vibes.
Oh, fuck. Let me read the last
Listen,
part.
I think you guys are being a little unfair.
Yeah.
Square Enix is going to be able to reinvest all of this in the Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale, and I think that experience is going to be really great.
Oh man.
That's real, isn't it? They are making a Final Fantasy Battle Royale, aren't they?
I wonder if they're still making it. That seems like the kind of thing that's canceled.
You're right. I
quietly.
remember that. Like, I remember we put an article in like the unused category of like articles like ages ago, and I don't think I've heard anything about it since.
It looked awful.
Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier is a free-to-play battle royale multiplayer game for mobile phones, released November 17th, 2021.
Oh
my god, it's out?
Jesus Christ.
Nobody has talked about it once in months. That's wonderful.
Square Enix is definitely one of those companies that I think has really gone the ActiBliz route. They've just sort of like absolutely shit the bed in terms of being an actual video game developer / publisher.
Oh,
Anyway, let me read the rest of this article. After the sale of many of its Western studios to the Embracer Group, Square Enix had announced its intentions to invest in, quote, fields including blockchain, AI, and the cloud, which caused some concern amongst fans as nothing screams out of touch more than a company deciding to jump on the rapidly imploding NFT bandwagon. Are you glad Square Enix has a change of heart? Or put another way, listen to criticism, equipped your hottest takes in the comment section. This is such a... That is the wrong take to take away from this. They didn't listen to criticism. They haven't had a change of heart. They saw the NFT prices just absolutely fucking tank and were like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck, this is not an asset that we need to invest in.
It is annoying that the article frames it.
Yeah,
so
it's a dumb way to
generously.
frame it because it's just business school lizard people making a calculation. Now, it is perfectly possible that, from what I've heard, that they were not particularly happy with the Western game studios that they purchased or the IPs, because they kept pumping like a shit ton of money into these projects to the point where they would have to make ridiculous amounts of cash to even like make back the money they spent on development and advertising, rather than, I don't know, making more niche products. Because, you know, like Deus Ex, even though it's like a cult classic, it's a fucking cult classic, you know?
Yeah. And they keep trying to make it into like a big AAA hit. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's not gonna be that, dude. You gotta double a Deus Ex game.
Pretty much.
I hope that fucking Embracer Group makes a Deus Ex game.
Me too.
We'll see how that goes.
And a thief game. Like, we haven't had a decent thief game in fucking...
Oh my god, yeah. Use these IPs. Square didn't want to use them.
I couldn't make it 30 minutes into that last thief game from Square. Like, holy shit, the voice acting was so cheesy and bad. I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
It's really one of the worst games like that for consoles, where it's like trying so hard to like replicate that ImSim feel, and it's just totally incompetent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other cryptocurrency news I can just go through real quick. One of the most prominent crypto hedge funds has just defaulted on a $670 million loan. Prominent crypto hedge fund 3 Arrows Capital is defaulted on a loan worth more than $630 million. That's interesting. 3 Arrows.
Whoops.
Yeah, what? What's going on there?
I'm just like, what? They're against monarchy. They're against monarchy, fascism, and making any money whatsoever. Oh my god!
Capitalism the long way around.
Oh, here's the fucking 3 Arrows logo.
Oh, they're going the opposite way.
I know.
Okay.
pro fascism, pro monarchy, and pro communism. That's a hot take.
They're
I like
developing
that.
a really fascinating new system based entirely off of ape JPEGs that combine the 3 around.
Yeah, so not everyone who can is getting out of the fucking like NFT and crypto section right now. There's like 2 more things I got to get through real quickly because we're starting to run out of time. We're at like the 55-minute mark.
Oh shit.
The Iron Pineapple tweeted out something that I had never heard about, which is apparently there's like a fucking Web3 quote unquote games console called the Polium. A multi-chain console for Web3 gaming. Web3 #Web3 on console. And it's like one of the features that Iron Pineapple points out, it's got a fucking wallet button on the controller. I'm getting big Ouya vibes from this.
Here is where one defends the Ouya, because this does not exist. No, this console does not exist.
Yeah.
You know, there's not a prototype. They haven't figured out how to push a wallet button to make it work. These are just morons. The Ouya shipped on time. The Ouya had original games that it had Towerfall. People like Towerfall. I'm not saying one has to defend the Ouya. I'm just saying that there is one is Bleach and one is Cthulhu piss. Which is which? It's
Bringing back that analogy. That could be the title of the fucking episode. Bleach and Cthulhu piss.
I'm gonna bring that back less sensically every episode.
I just want to read through some of the fucking features of this supposed thing. So the controller alone has a fingerprint scanner, which is kind of insane. I've never heard of a controller having like a fucking fingerprint scanner on. And I feel like I would not trust the creators of this product with my fucking biometrics.
Fuck no. Oh my god.
The fucking, and then of course the other feature, the wallet button, just so you can just whip that out and spend fucking money. To quickly access your wallet while in a game, which is like, who fucking needs to do that? Who needs to like, man, I wish that this controller had a check my bank accounts button.
Yeah, that's every time I play video games. The first thing I want to think about is my bank account and my money situation. That's why I play games. It's entirely why I play games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
This thing, the pitch must be is like, oh, you can safely make $80,000 transactions of monkey NFTs on this thing, and it's really upsetting. It's really upsetting.
Man, I feel like this, reading further into it, this is really just, this console concept is an encapsulation of like NFTs and cryptocurrency writ large, because these are what it's claiming as its capabilities. 8K HDR, ray tracing, 120 FPS for an independent studio.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Just lying on the internet. That's all these guys have ever done, and they just can't seem to stop.
You can just type whatever you want.
Those specs are literally impossible with current gen technology.
And the perfect the perfect punctuation to it. We did not steal the GameCube logo.
Oh yeah, fuck.
There are multiple companies using a similar logo, but we will illustrate a new logo that is original. Well, why do you need to steal it?
But we will change it.
Fuck me.
Fucking
these
crypto bingo right there.
Jesus
I want to create
Christ.
a whole fake character that's just mad at this system for not having 240 FPS.
Oh my god,
and,
yes.
and try to get people sucked into that drama somehow.
Yeah, I thought we were going to the moon, boys. What the fuck is this?
Well, the fuck, you can't even use my 144 refresh rate monitor for this? This is bullshit.
I wouldn't give this to a member of Antifa.
Anyway, here's the one last quote before we move on. A lot of criticisms and mixed reviews. Web3 gaming will be the future rocket ship controller emoji. We will have a functional prototype ready before we take any pre-orders or funding. Let's clear some things up. And then they do the thing where it's like, we didn't copy the GameCube logo, but we are changing it to one that's original. You're so right, Kropo. That is the funniest fucking thing about this. It's like, oh my god, that's exactly like the fucking, all those NFTs are like, we didn't steal this, but we're taking it down anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Alright, well, that's all the time we have. We're actually a little bit over time, so I'll have to cut this down a bit. No, it's my own fault for bringing up the article, and at the end we were just sort of like, meh.
Yeah, I mean, that one, there's a lot to talk about, but we can't talk about it yet because it hasn't happened yet.
I really should have just cut it out, because we were at the hour mark when we started. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what? It's fine. If it's really bad, I can just cut it out and post.
I mean, that'll be an episode in of itself, just like a year
That's
later.
a good idea.
We talked about it in like a deleted thing. Yeah.
I'm gonna do the Blizzard thing and cut regular content out of the episode as part of and upload it on the premium stream.
I mean, it'll be on the disc, but you need the premium stream.
Yeah.
All right, and on that bombshell, let's wrap things up. All right, Kropo, where can people find you online and your great content?
Kropotkin Peter with a Y on Twitter. And if you do on YouTube, Kropo doesn't work call centers anymore. That's got some old reviews of PS2 games. And I'm hopefully going to be starting that up again.
That sounds interesting. I didn't know you had that. Kropo doesn't
want to work call centers.
Same.
A little on the nose, but yeah,
vibe,
hopefully I'm coming out with a review of Grand Theft Auto 3, which was slated to be of October 2020 to hit the anniversary, but that didn't happen.
That's a great name. That's sort of the purpose of this podcast, is like, none of us want to work.
Yeah, I don't want to work call centers in specific. Like, I'm just tired of those.
Yeah.
All right. So, Reese, where can people find you online?
Go very good bud on Twitter.
All right. Kay, where can people find you on the internet and watch your upcoming video this Friday as of recording?
That's right. You can find me on the big internet at youtube.gov at KNSkittles.
youtube.cia/KNSkittles.
Yeah, KNSkittles. Come watch my video on Citizen Sleeper, which will be out by the time you are hearing this. I have a Twitch where I stream on the weekends, also KNSkittles, and you can come and look at Skittles. I mean,
ferret.
What the fuck else do you people want from me?
Animals.
You fucking animals, you hogs.
They're there for Skittles. Skittles draws them in.
All right, you can find me at 8alton8 on Twitter. You can find my YouTube at Alton Plays, which is a name I want to change at some point. I haven't thought of anything better. I'm just like, what the fuck do I do on this channel? And it's just mostly game highlight clips, and eventually I'll upload the rest of the Vigato To episodes. I promise. Within the next 5 years.
Alton's Dumpster Fire.
Alton's Boyfriend Dungeon. There you go. And you can watch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Alton8. You can find our Patreon at patreon.com/vgottotoa, $1 a month. Get you all of our great backlog of episodes, including our latest fucking thing. What the fuck was it? Todd Skyrim Nightmare, our latest video games are okay maybe episode, where we talk about the eternal darkness that is Todd's soul. We also have the Mountain Dew horror stories and just a bunch of good shit. And you should also go check out our previous episode with Kropo, where we talk about Blizzard and how fucking garbage it is.
Yeah, I feel I should apologize for that episode because I did not illustrate how garbage it was. I wasn't aware of the depths of the garbage until recent news events, just because I didn't see all of it.
Mhm.
And for that, I apologize sincerely, because just didn't want to think that people were monsters. They were monsters.
I mean, I'm glad we could take this time to forgive you for Blizzard's crimes here on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
As like a lowly support worker.
Fucking $10 an hour in my soul.
Oh fuck, that's right. How could you? How could you, Kropo? Anyway, that is all. Check out our website at videogamesartheworst.pinecast.co for all the previous episodes. Review us on Apple Podcasts, Android, whatever. Just review us, okay? Tell your friends.
Don't vote.
And don't vote. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Goodbye.
I'm not saying goodbye.
Irish goodbye right there.